We are live.
Hey, everybody.
Hey,
Hey, Pat. Hey, Starla.
Starla, what kind of salt did you get?
Is it iodized, kosher, non-iodized, table salt? What you got? Starla Pat is putting away 100 pounds of salt right now.
Hey, Jan L.
Hey, Janin.
We're going to sit tight for a minute or two and see if more people pop in. Hope everybody had a good week. We got a lot to talk about tonight, don't we?
Oh my gosh, yes.
It's been a wild ride this week.
And it doesn't help that the country's gone on a wild ride too.
Yeah, people are kind of losing their minds. What you want to?
All starting at the White House.
Time to pile up the food.
Yeah.
It's been that way for a while. More people are waking up to it.
Yeah.
Just going to exacerbate things. Well, you want to start with the update?
Yeah, JNN. Yes, I'm feeling much better. You guys are the best prayer warriors. You really are. I woke up the next day, and I'm going to say I was probably about 50%. Relish Queen. Hey, Tag. Sorry about those 2 jars, man. I went through the rest of the jars.
Explain what happened.
Okay, well, I'm not sure what happened.
Well, tell them how you got to the Relish Queen part first.
Oh, they already know because we talked about that last week.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. We already did that. So, was making some relish, and we had 2 jars that are bad. But I went through the rest of them, and they all look good. So I don't know what happened. And obviously that wasn't through the cooking process. It had to have been as I was filling jars or something. I don't know where the hell that came from. But yeah, so we're doing good. But yeah, so this week was raspberries. We had
raspberries and more raspberries.
I've got cases and cases sitting on my table because we're getting ready for festival. So I'm going to take that stuff out with me. Hey, Mrs. Ghetto. And so I had a friend that ended up with 72 flats of raspberries. And so if you remember last Tuesday, I got I got the phone call, and then I got a little message. Hey, SG. And I thought she meant raspberry plants. I'm not going to lie. And so I was thinking, heck yeah, I'll take those. And so it's really funny when people in our group, when they don't know about, when they don't think that they have time to do things and they're overly blessed. For some reason, my kitchen is where everything ends up. So I think it's because everybody knows I hate to waste food, and so
you can't say no.
And I can't say no. And so I ended up processing those, and I ended up
Who
with
ended up processing it?
I did.
We ended up processing.
You cleaned a little bit for me. Don't give me a break. I appreciate your help, but give me a break.
Well, I cleaned about 50 pounds of raspberries.
You still, for his wine, you still need to go over and clean my stove too. I've already scrubbed it down twice. It's your turn.
But so we did a lot of canning this week.
Did a lot of canning.
A lot of food prep. What else did you make?
I did freeze dryer. I've got candy in the freeze dryer. Got the mashed potatoes, some mashed potatoes in the freeze dryer. You did that for me. Got all those bagged up.
Okay, something we learned about the mashed potatoes. So the mashed potatoes we had were the pre-made Walmart type. They come in the bag, and you just warm the bag up in warm water.
Boiling water.
And when we freeze dried them, the consistency just seemed off. They weren't like freeze dried potatoes, and the only thing we can figure out is that there was butter or something in there that caused it to be greasy, and it was like the consistency of that smart sand that the kids play with.
I just read SG's message. The Weather Channel can't figure out the weather here either. Yeah. They don't know what the hell they're doing. So anyway, got all that done and did some canning. It's time to start putting everything up. As we leave a week from Thursday, we leave Thursday morning and head out back to the land. So we're going to put that away. What else did we do? We had homesteading rotation this weekend. We went out to Hacks for the Homestead and put up easily 2 quarts.
At least 2 quarts. I think maybe a little bit more.
Mm-hmm. The plan was we were also going to put in the poles for the wood shop, right? Mm-hmm. And darn it, the auger didn't fit. And then we were like, well, let's get the hand auger and we can get that in. Something happened with that. And by that time, it was time for everybody to go. But
it was a really good day. I mean, I really, really enjoyed that.
Yeah, and then we have another homestead rotation coming up October 9th. And so we'll be over at Life Done Free, and we'll be we'll be cutting firewood, doing some wood chips, and I think we're also going to mill some wood. Don't let me forget, I need to measure that bar that we're going to do out on the front porch.
Okay.
Tag said that we can get that cut. He's got some walnut and some other stuff we can pick from. Thanks, Tag, for that. And so we'll get that going. And then I think we're going to call, well, Patty twisted my arm, and she's right, and we could use the help. We need to get firewood put up too. So G went out, cut trails last night.
I was cutting trails, and I think we've probably got 8 cord of deadwood out there that can be cleaned up. Mm-hmm. Got some pretty big trees that came down. So I'm going to go out between now and we're not really quite sure when we're going to do the work day, but I'm going to go out and prep everything and see if I can't drop some deadwood and stage it in an area that's easy to get to, because it's way back on the back part of the property, and getting back there can be a chore.
Yeah.
So I just need to get it up where we can work on it in an open area.
And honestly, what we want to do is we want to make sure that we have everything staged and ready to go, so that we can knock this stuff out, right? So when we get to somebody's homestead, like Darren and Patty had the wood all piled up. It was right next to the splitter. We had a wagon that we were able to fill, trailer that we filled for firewood for camp.
Well, and the reason why, we
and then
wood for camp,
right, and then all of that stuff. So it was all right there in that area. It was really good. Now, the way this works is that when you go to someone's homestead and you are working, it is that homestead's responsibility to make sure you have plenty of water. In my case, everybody likes to make sure that I have plenty of tea. And guys, I probably drink a gallon of tea, if not more, every day. So I'm just a tea girl. And then whatever else, I think there was lemonade. We had some lemonade, coffee. We have a lot of coffee drinkers. And
Patty put on a really good spread.
Yeah, and then we had a good spread. And so Chris and Patty there's barbecue chicken sandwiches and macaroni salad, mashed potatoes, and cheesy corn. So we had all that, and then she had cookies made for us. There were no bakes, chocolate chip, and snickerdoodle. So had all of that, so we were all able to stuff ourselves full of sugar and full of food, and I don't think there was one of us not rolling out of there. So,
well, and if and the thing is, if you're having a work day like this, especially when the weather's warm, making sure that everybody's hydrated and making sure that everybody gets some food in them at some point during the day, so that they got energy. It's really important.
Yeah.
Because like when we did it at our house, at the old place, it was really humid. It had rained for like 3 days straight.
Well, dang, here it was hotter than hell.
And it was humid, and it was just, we had to keep everybody hydrated. That was the big important thing.
But the idea behind that is that many hands make light work.
Right.
And so, yes, you're taking a day off of your homestead to go help somebody else's homestead, but we rotate, right? So that means that one day that we're not doing something by ourselves, all of a sudden we'll have 6, 10, 12. One time we even had 26 people. Yeah. And so you get that many people, and you figure it out, 26 people, that's 26 days of that we get done that we don't have to do by ourselves.
Let's see. Jan, my husband cuts wood off our land, however, also loads up the wood ends for a pallet company for $15 a trailer load. Oh, that's nice. Mm-hmm. You guys have a great community. I'm sure it makes things a lot. It really does. It really does.
It's huge. I mean, even without that community, there is absolutely, I'm telling you right now, there's absolutely no way we could have made this move from one homestead to the other. We had a large
not in the manner that we did it.
Oh my gosh, I think we would have had to sell off all of our animals.
We would have had to sell off all of them.
So we had the sheep, and we had the goats, we had the chickens, We had the hogs, we had the ducks. Sold the ducks off, sold the hogs off because G wasn't having it. We weren't
Well, we
moving
sold
hogs.
one of the hogs off. We put the other one.
Put the other one in the freezer, and then Patty and Darren, they ended up taking our sheep and goats for us and babysitting them, and then B and Tag ended up taking our chickens.
Not
and,
once, but twice.
Right. They took them back after the fire,
Yep.
and so took really good care of them. And yeah, no complaints from me. We didn't lose anybody. And well, we did over at Bees, but that was not her fault, and that was really only after the fire, right?
After the fire,
because they had ingested some of the smoke. But she did a great job nursing, doing what she could to get them better. So
well, and it was really great practice because they got their flock right after.
Yeah.
But actually, our flock was still there when they brought chickens.
Some of them.
It
not
was
all
it was
of
nice.
them. Yeah. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Those neighbors are your community. They may not be part of your circle, but they're part of your community.
Well, and they quickly do become part of your circle.
Yes, they do.
I mean, I know that if I need anything, and he's proven it time and time again, if I need anything, I can give Chris and Misty a call, and they are right here. And so you don't have to worry about it. In fact, he's even gone to the point that he stores our hay for us. So he secures it for us.
Which is getting expensive.
Yeah, but we don't get charged. Cowboy doesn't charge us.
Well, he's charging us this year's price. They have gone in the last 18 months. The 800-pound and 1,200-pound round bales have gone from $35 a piece to over $100 a piece. We're getting them for $65 right now because we're paying last year's prices because it's last year's hay. But it's
no, he did a new field for us.
Oh, did he?
Mm-hmm. It's mixed.
Well, that's good. Mm-hmm. But it's just it's getting hard for feed prices and stuff.
Yeah. So anyway, so we did that, and G got some finishing touches on the deck. We got the metal roof on. Mm-hmm. And you did
slowly putting screws in the decking. Yeah. I finally made the video to show you guys what it looks like. So it will be up tomorrow. Today's Tuesday.
Hey, all right.
So it'll be up Wednesday. You see what Starla said?
I'm looking now.
But yeah, and then my week was that I went out and I cut the wood or cut the trails and started scouting out wood. And then Sunday afternoon was a great time. I had a blast. And I'm really looking forward to going over to being tags because running a chainsaw is it's so soothing to me for some reason.
Can you grab me? I don't know. Okay. So to answer Starla.
Okay, we're gonna take a break in my story.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was focused on Starla. Go ahead. Finish your story.
But anyway, we came home Sunday night. I had a flat tire on my Jeep that I had to fix. Could not get, and luckily we had two tires, and there's something to that story there that we're going to talk about later on.
Again, a beautiful community thing.
Yes, our refrigerator in our kitchen died.
Doesn't work. Our brand new refrigerator doesn't work.
Less than 10 months old, died. So
it is still under manufacturer's warranty. They'll be out, but they can't get out until Thursday. And then it's sometime in the morning. They'll call me before they head out.
We spent an hour. Luckily, let's see. You can burn processed pellets. Yep. But so we spent time. Luckily, we had extra refrigerator space out in the outbuilding, so we did that. And then while I was moving the fridge out to look at it, I forgot to disconnect the water line, and I broke the main line coming up from the sink, the hot water line. And the guy that we paid way too much money when we moved in to put the turn off for the line and everything, he put these valves and everything on this line and did not put a main shutoff valve down below him. So I broke it, and the only way we could turn the water off where that break was to turn the water off to the entire house. So luckily,
holy smoke! You got to be kidding me! Did you see that?
What?
And SG is from Arizona. 3-string hay bales are up to $26.
No way!
Oh my gosh!
That's crazy. That's got to be killing ranchers and small
Oh, I
farmers.
couldn't imagine.
I was complaining when they hit 11 back last year.
I could not imagine.
But
which is the whole reason why we went to round bales.
right. So luckily, again, the community stepped in. Tag helped me. He had some parts because it was late on a Sunday. I managed to get it put together so we could get the water back on the house. I ended up fixing it Monday night or yesterday completely. And Tag, I've got your stuff in my Jeep, and I'm going to drop it off tomorrow.
Do you see JNN? So JNN, yes.
Read it.
Okay, so JNN says, my brother was transporting his hay from the cellar to his home. In between loads, someone stole some. Scary times. You're not joking. So Tag over at Life Done Free, and I kicked myself in the butt, but I wouldn't have been able to prove it because I didn't see where he took it from. But they had 2 round bales stolen out of their field. And yeah, everybody's just feeling like they can just help themselves and screw the other ranchers. Yes. So thank you for that, Tag. Starla, yes, this is what I was going to say, except for Tag. She is going to be doing some sugar in there as well. Starla, no O2 absorbers with the sugar. So that includes your powdered sugar. I don't do O2 absorbers. So I put the Mylar bag into the bucket, put everything in there, and then vacuum the air out, and then we iron it down real good and seal it after we seal it mostly, leaving a little opening, and then in that little opening we can shove the O2 absorber in there, and we usually do 1,000 cc's for a 5-gallon bucket. So all of my cornstarch and my ground corn and all of that stuff has O2 absorbers in it. And then on the buckets that I'm using, I have what's called a gamma lid. So I have designated buckets that I use, and then I can just open that lid up and take it right out of there, and it works perfect. I know you're in a very small space, so you're probably going, oh, gaff, because now all of a sudden you got food grade buckets everywhere. So I get that, but I'm telling you, it's a game changer. So
and hold on, you don't. If you're putting it in Mylar bags, you do not need food grade buckets, unless you're going to store it in the buckets after you open the bag. You can use a regular Home Depot bucket or a Walmart bucket. Walmart sells food grade buckets and regular buckets too.
Yeah, but you can also go to any bakery and see if you can get them off them. Sometimes you can get them for 50 cents. I'm starting to notice bakeries are going up. And so they're selling them for $2 a bucket, and then it's usually $2 for a lid.
Did you say out of the Hacks family?
Hey, Hacks family. And you want to make sure that lid is also a food grade lid, and you want that rubber seal up inside of there so the mice and all of that can't get in there. They'll last you for years. So I do my flour and all of that the same way. So,
and if you don't mind going and talking to people, go to the bakery shop at your local big grocery store.
I said that already.
I said that. Oh, you did. I'm sorry. I was reading the chat.
I know you get caught up in the chat.
I was reading about the hay bales that she's talking about, and Jane and are talking about, because of
what'd they say?
The price, $30 for a 3-string 100-pound bale.
Oh, and it's Bermuda hay.
But wow. Yeah, it's just times are getting weird.
Crazy.
People are stealing it,
and you want to talk about weird? Let's talk about what the USDA put out today. You ready for that?
Okay, are we done with the update? Do we have anything?
I don't know. Do you have anything?
Before you go chasing rabbits.
I'm not chasing rabbits. I'm not chasing squirrels. I am pissed off.
Okay. You should be scared, not pissed.
No. This is where I'm making a stand right here. So they went in, the USDA, and they have, right now it's voluntary. When is the last time you heard voluntary, right? So last time I heard voluntary, my husband had to quit his job. We ended up selling our house, and now we're living free. So no problem. I get it. Our consequences were wonderful, but this one I'm not doing. What really ticks me off is the USDA wants you to volunteer. You go in and you tell the government what you got in your garden. Register your garden, people.
Go look up the USDA, the People's Garden Initiative. And they literally call it the People's Garden. That's a very very Soviet style name for what they're doing, and it's
what that means is you get to keep 5% of your garden. You're going to water it, you're going to do all of the work, you're going to weed it, you're going to sweat your ass off, and then they're going to come and collect 95% of that garden, and you get 5%.
Hey Lucy,
5.
pick me up some sugar. My husband was picked me up some sugar yesterday, and there was only 50-pound bags on the shelf. Another wanted one of the bags. My husband said, "Sorry, my wife needs that," and he wasn't nice. You know what though?
I've done that.
Lucy, you bring up a good point though. So we did the raspberries this week, and we
went through a lot of sugar.
We figured that we went through about 35-40 pounds of sugar processing. Well, we ended up with 12, 13 cases worth of raspberry stuff.
No, there's more than that here.
Plus 20 pounds
Way
for
more than that.
20 pounds for the wine, and then another 10 pounds in the freezer.
No, didn't you do a second batch of wine with
Yeah,
the
I did.
other? Yeah.
But so we went through 35-40 pounds. I'm telling you folks, if things go south like they very well could be, you do not have enough sugar.
You don't. And the thing is, I wanted to check this out while I could still get some sugar. This is the old-fashioned way of canning jams and that kind of thing. So when I was growing up in California, we had Knott's Berry Farm, and Mom and Dad would take us to Knott's Berry Farm, and Mom would always get their jam, and the jam was absolutely amazing. Now, this was before it got super expensive, so don't be thinking that we had all kinds of money in the world. My dad was also in the military, so we got discounted tickets, and they would have military day.
You know those military people, they make all kinds of money.
Yeah, I think it was like maybe $2 sometimes for us to go, and we're talking days before super roller coasters. It was more like a carnival and country shows and that kind of thing. Like, if this tells you anything, Scott Baio was singing, and I thought it was the best thing ever. So,
Mrs. Ghetto, I realized that after I said it. Well, Mr. Ghetto was in there. He was the one that came in for. Well, he said Mr. and Mrs. Ghetto are here, and so I thought I wasn't paying attention, and he usually doesn't pop in and say hi.
You're gonna be on the naughty list.
You said it too.
I don't know. I thought it said Mrs. Ghetto.
Here's a cool story. So her dad met her mother while he was stationed on the USS Ranger, which is a CV-61 aircraft carrier. And I met her.
And he drove a Jeep.
Mm-hmm. And I met her 20 years later. Mm-hmm. I met her 20 years later when I was stationed on the USS Ranger on the Marine Detachment.
And he drove a Jeep.
And I drove a Jeep. And we ended up getting married. And he used to get all kinds of bent out of shape because as an E6, I made as much money as an E4 as he did when he was an E6. You know, and then her half brother adopted. I don't know what you call him.
Who were you talking? Oh,
EJ.
He's adopted.
He's
so
adopted.
He's
your brother,
and he's not a turd, so he can be my brother.
I didn't. So he's not a turd.
Yeah.
Anymore.
The other two I don't claim
anymore.
Yeah.
But he's in the Army right now, and he, as a E1, which is a private, he made as much money a month as I made when I was a corporal with 8 years.
Dad was saying he made more money than when Dad was an E6, I think.
No, an E8.
Was it an
E8?
Yeah. Kind of unbelievable.
Lucy bought cane sugar. It cost me $10 for 11 grams. Woo!
11 grams.
11 grams
is. You got to convert that for me.
This is 0.6.
This is why I need that book. And
Lucy, I'm going to say what? Maybe 6 pounds. I may be high. I may be.
Holy smoke.
I may be.
Ooh, that's a lot. That's a lot. Here we're still able to get of course we don't have you, Lucy, you're up in Canada, so that may be the difference. A lot of our cane sugar is coming from Mississippi, Florida, the Gulf region, and also from Hawaii. So it's just getting insane. So what do you guys think about registering your gardens? How many of you are going to do that?
Yeah, go out there to the USDA Gov and look it up and read it. It is super creepy, especially if you're a history buff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting the way history is repeating itself.
Yes, it is. It may not repeat, but it often rhymes a lot.
2 pounds for. Oh my gosh.
Wow, I was way off, wasn't I?
Whoa. Holy smoke. Oh my gosh, I can't believe that's. See, guys, this is robbery. Why are we tolerating this crap? We there's got to be. We're gonna have to start putting our foot down and just store. Here's what I'm saying: no matter what you're paying, store up what you can and then get it there. And
Tag, I'm right
it.
there with you, man.
You
all praise to our overlords.
We bow to you. Oh my goodness. Oh, so then what other ridiculousness came up? Oh, we're having to switch insurance companies. So I ran around.
That was something. Another update on the Homestead.
Tag's son is doing some insurance quotes for us, and oh my gosh! So I've been doing. I had to go get an appraisal on a tractor. This was a new experience. Never had to do that before. And then all the way up through and west to Seneca. It looks like I might a little farther west, and this was very interesting. This was a mom and pop shop that I found, and they were supposed to be guild dealers. So we got to talking, come to find out they're like-minded. We had a great conversation. I just barely made it back in time because we were talking and they closed at 5 and we just didn't stop talking. But Case International is coming in and they're taking over a lot of the smaller shops that were handling Gill and basically trying to push Gill out of the way and selling their Case International tractors so that we can't use them anymore.
Case ain't,
couple of problems.
Case ain't cheap either.
Case isn't cheap, and
their yellow paint costs almost as much as John Deere green.
They're red now.
Or the red.
And so part of the problem is that is also making parts for the Gill harder to get. And I don't know what we're gonna do. It just makes me so mad. Well, we keep Darren around, and Darren will make sure that Gill keeps on running.
Pat's keeping Tag honest.
I bet Pat registered her garden too. Yeah, Pat seems like that type of girl. She was like, I'm gonna feed 95% of those people no matter what. This is going to happen.
Charles probably drove her down there to sign up for it too.
I can't even lie about that. Charles would throw the keys in a ditch and make her go watch a even not driver. I don't see that happening.
I would love. So Charles and Pat are very good friends of ours. They live semi close by.
Yeah, about 2 hours.
And I'll tell you, I would love to get Charles on camera to talk about stuff, but he is very private, and I think it would be a chore to get him. I don't think he would do it, just flat out.
Right. Patty, yes, I was going to stop. Maybe you missed the part that I barely made it home for the live because I was flapping my jaws, talking about how horrible the government is and how our most popular president ever is coming off more and more like Hitler every day. Actually, that's Obama that's doing that. But
have we? Miss Ghetto says butter's getting hard to get. Are we seeing that here?
Yes, it's getting expensive here, and it is getting hard to get. And we are. It's like no. We are experiencing the same thing. There's not as many choices of butter. I did find at Aldi my Irish butter that I like, so I put some of that away in the freezer so that I can keep the Italian cookies and all that stuff going if I need it. And then, but I don't know. I don't know why, but this was something that was on my radar years ago. So I have a crap ton of canned butter that I put away. No, it's not ghee. Ghee is purified.
You made a whole bunch of that too.
You know what? No, I didn't because I didn't know how to purify it. Mrs. H set me straight, not Mrs. Hacks, Heart for the Homestead Heart. And Mrs. H set it straight. She's doing a couple of videos. She's got a ghee video coming up. And so what I thought I was making was ghee. I was not. I was just melting the butter and canning it. Oh. So yeah, so it is different. And I just didn't know what that difference was. And that I'm talking too much.
Tag is.
Oh.
Starla uses Tillamook. What's that? Is that a brand?
Uses what?
Tillamook butter.
I never heard of it. Never heard of it, Starla. What is it?
Are there
$6?
bugs in your butter?
Yeah. No, there's no bugs in butter. I don't know why that happened, Tag. That is so dang weird. Oh, Amish butter.
Okay.
Oh, I'll have to check up in Jansport and see about that. There's a dairy up there, and they do a lot, mostly cheeses. But I bet you I could probably talk Martha into getting me some.
Tennessee Farm Gal says, watch for Kroger's digital coupons for butter and other staples. Butter was $2.09 a pound last week.
$2.69 a pound.
Or $2.69. Yeah. Oh, there we go. I can see it now.
Yeah. I've never seen it at Walmart here. But Starla, I also know that you're in a different area, so
we have to keep an eye on that.
Yeah.
And luckily there are ways to process it so you can store it long term, shelf stable.
Honey, why are you putting soybeans in your feed? Maybe she's just saying they went up, so she didn't. Maybe she didn't.
They get the corn in theirs, but the soybean stuff went up too.
Yeah. Starla, he was asking if there were bugs in my butter. So we have not had the AC on, and I have been canning. I had to do all of those, that pickle relish and that stuff, and trying to get all of that done. At some point somewhere, there were 2 jars. Now, out of all of that, it was only 2 jars. Yeah, it was only 2 jars. And so I don't understand what happened. But B sent me a picture, and there's literally bugs in the jar. And I was like, oh, gross. So I had Garen investigate it. And I'm like, here, look at this picture, because I was really worried. Because if it was in the whole damn batch, then of course all of that has to be trashed. And some people say, oh, extra protein. Yeah, I don't know where those bugs came from. No, that's not happening. And so anyway, I went through, inspected everything, and I'm not seeing any. I haven't heard anything else from B, so I'm assuming it was just those 2 jars. So that had to have been after the fact, and it could have been when I went up to go get those damn peaches.
Yeah.
But did I have jars already poured? I didn't think I did. I thought I had everything covered. But
Starla, you can call me Grumpy G, or just Grumpy. Everybody else does, or just G, or just Hey You.
Make butter with it. Yeah, so I can actually get raw milk. The issue that we're having right now, and you guys are going to start seeing that the whipping cream, all of that, it's going up in price, and you may not be able to get as much of it. And part of the problem is a lot of people are really even starting to get rid of their dairy cows because there's a hay shortage. Let's just put it that way. There's hay, but there's a hay shortage. And so when you can't afford to feed that hay, there's not a lot of green grass and all of that stuff, and they're just barely making it their own feed and all of that. The cream is sour, and you don't want to make butter from that. It's not any good. So
hey, everybody, if you go back up, Mrs. Ghetto posted a link for a video where Mr. Ghetto made ghee. If I remember correctly, he did that with the cannibals one night, or maybe he was doing that. I remember watching him make it when he was doing it live. Or he was making some live, I should say. I would recommend, if you want to learn how to do it, go watch that video.
How come you didn't tell me about that?
I tell you about cannibals and all that stuff all the time, and you've got other.
Oh, was that on Cannibals?
Somebody was making ghee, and he was up there on a panel with him. I think it was him.
Oh, okay.
He may have done that separate though.
Yeah. I don't know. The Cannibals is the one they do on Friday night.
Yeah,
right?
on Friday night.
Yeah. Oh, that cracks me up sometimes. You guys are a mess over there. And I just, a lot of times I'll be in my kitchen and I'm canning and I just start laughing. And she's like, what are you laughing at? And I'm like, oh my goodness. And he'll come in and he'll start listening. And he's like, they're being inappropriate. And I go, I don't care. They're hilarious. They're cracking me up. So, because just guys, poop is funny. It just is.
Yes.
Yeah.
We are juvenile.
So anyway,
fart jokes are funny too.
Fart jokes are very funny, especially when you can fart and make it a really good one.
Oh my god.
So anyway, but yeah, we're like children around here. So yeah, so you'll probably start seeing that the whipping cream, heavy cream, all of that stuff, higher in price. You're going to start seeing a shortage on that, at least until we can get green grass back. But like I'm saying, there's a lot of us that we are just kind of connecting and interlocking all of the farms and homesteads, and we're going to take care of each other first and not worry about the grocery stores and all this stupid crap that's going on. And, it's just like, I don't know anybody that's from Kansas. They understand what I'm talking about. So Governor Kelly's been running on the platform that there's no food tax, no food tax whatsoever. And I said, "Am I missing something? What the hell is going on?" Because every time I go to the store, I'm paying a food tax. And so then Patty, Mrs. Hacks, actually looked it up and she goes, "Oh, no, that goes in 2025. Well, isn't that freaking convenient? It kicks in 2025. Well, guess what? What was the inflation bill, the inflation reduction bill that was celebrated in the Rose Garden today that you guys should all be so damn happy about? It's not even going to affect you and you're not going to see shit from it until 2026.
Language.
Sorry, guys. I am just pissed off about this crap. It just makes me so mad. But yeah, anyway, so you guys will find out when I get passionate about something. At least I'm not dropping heavy bombs.
Like,
So,
I have
but
to watch it when I'm talking sometimes.
but yeah, no, there's just this whole thing is just crazy. I never ever in my lifetime would have thought I'd see this.
Okay.
Never.
Okay. Now, I did a video 4 days ago about full spectrum preparedness and how it works as a homestead strategy. And I got a comment this morning on it that I want to share with you guys. So Randy L, if you are in chat, go ahead and type something in so we know you're here. So hang on a second. Okay. So Randy L wrote, "What are you preparing for? I've been preparing for 50 years. I now realize it's only living. In the end, when do you stop? Now I'm preparing to meet my maker. All the stuff I collected, I can't take it with me. Time to downsize. Anybody want to buy a 2-year food supply, 25 years left on the expiration?" Okay. There's a lot to unpack in that comment. It kind of sounds defeatist in the way it's written, but I started looking at it deeper and it's not. So he asked the question, what are we preparing for? Well, first off, self-preservation is not our goal. That's not why we're doing what we're doing. We look to
Starla, that's not us selling it. That's Randy L selling it. We actually suggested to him that he go over to freesteading.com and then pick his state and put that there and see if he can't make connections with a neighbor or something like that and do that. But you and Randy do what you want. So if you want to talk to him and see what he's got, you go right ahead. I just don't know how to get a hold of him.
Just leave a comment on that comment on the prepping thread. But anyway, so why do we prepare? First off, we're preparing for a day that ends in Y. Because what we call preparedness, the world does a big cataclysmic bang like what you see guys on Doomsday Preppers preparing for. You know what it ends? It ends when you go to sleep at night. The world changes, and the world as you know it ends when you have a baby born. It ends when you lose your job. It ends when a loved one dies. And that's what we're preparing for. All right, we're preparing for everyday life. We are advocates of modern self-sufficiency, which the definition of modern self-sufficiency for me is the ability to handle as many problems by yourself with the material, the tools, and the skills that you have. And the only way that you can do that is by going out and acquiring those three things. It makes no sense to me. I never could figure out why people are preparing for something that has a very small percentage chance of happening, like the Yellowstone caldera. There's people that are preparing for that. There's people preparing for meteor strikes and nuclear meltdowns. You know what you're going to get hit by? You're going to have a flat tire on your Jeep one Sunday afternoon, and you're going to have to replace your tire. Well, luckily, when I bought the Jeep, I bought 2 tires with it. So I had 2 relatively new tires.
The tires were thrown in.
Well, I bought them they were thrown in with it anyway. But they were out in the outbuilding, and I was able to take both those tires to the tire shop and get one put on the Jeep and the other one put on the spare, because the spare was kind of ratty. But and what that does is it gives me the leisure to prepare. I mean, to save up for those, save up for new tires, and my tagline on my everyday Gmail account that I use is First Timothy 5:18, which goes. Hang on a second, I'll tell you exactly what it says.
He should have this memorized.
I should. I'm bad. I admit it. I'm bad. Hang on.
Did you go over? Did you lose them on camera?
No, I didn't lose them.
Oh, okay.
So well, if I can bring it up, my tagline is extremely slow loading. Anyway, basically what it says is anybody that hath not prepared, especially for his family, is as bad as the infidel. And I love that. I love that quote, or that verse, because it's got a twofold meaning. And Randy L touched on this in what he was saying. He said he's preparing to meet his maker. Well, and that's our call as Christians. Oh, here we go. But if any provide not for his own, and especially for those in his own house, he hath denied the faith and is worse than an infidel. 1 Timothy 5:8. But there's a spiritual aspect to that, like Randy L was talking about. We're constantly preparing our faith. That goes into that mental and spiritual preparedness. We are building this homestead. This homestead, chances are we will not be able to take part in the fullness of it once we're done. Chances are we're going to be dead before it reaches full maturity. But this homestead is a tree that we're planting for our family. And if not our family, if our family doesn't want anything to do with it and they want to sell it off, they want to sell all the food and everything, that's fine. They'll still benefit from all the hard work and toil that we put into it. But if they want to stay with it, our children and our grandchildren are going to be able to sit underneath the shade of this tree that we planted and enjoy its fruits. And that's why we prepare. And he asked, when do you stop? When you stop when you're dead. There's lots of time after you die to stop preparing. Yeah. There's always something you could be doing. There's always a skill you can learn. There's always go out and wheel and deal and barter for something that you may need in the future.
Yeah, I like today, and I went out. I just went to go get a simple appraisal.
Oh yeah.
By the time I came back, the guy is taking down an entire barn area where he would keep all of his cattle and all of that. So he's got steel posts and he's got panels, and he's willing to make a deal with us. So Tag will be getting a hold of you too. Garen will get a list of everything that he has, and the guy is willing to wheel and deal. Like-minded, very nice couple. So older, I think even older than my mom and dad, and Tag probably older than your dad was. So you guys will be doing the heavy work. So just FYI on that. But,
I had to send a check. I went on my rant, and the chat stopped moving. Either the chat's dead or
everybody left the building. Oh my goodness. Having issues with the streaming. Oh gosh, Nikki, I hope you're not. So I don't know, Nikki, if you are the Nikki that talked to B and Tag the other night, would you reach out to me personally? I'd really like to talk to you and just give you some encouragement and let you know what we went through, how we're doing it, and what we're doing. And I want you to know that, if that is you, and be kind of enlighten me a little bit of what was going on. You absolutely can do this. And you are living in Sacramento hell. Get out as soon as you can. So, you have no sound. Oh no.
Close the browser and reopen it, and it should come back for you.
She has no sound. You need to type that in.
Oh. Duh.
So we'll get Nikki set up, but and then there was also somebody else I think that was going to reach out. You guys, this is absolutely doable. It's just a matter of putting your mind to it. Now, it is scary. I'm not going to lie. It is very scary. We were already homesteading and coming out here, starting all over again, quitting a job, not knowing what was going to happen, just laying everything over in God's hands. He took care of it. We're good for it, but extremely, extremely scary. But this is the important part about having community. There were many times, and Tag can tell you, there were many times I was breaking down crying because I didn't know if I could do this. And you were there. You didn't know. He can tell me and encourage me, but sometimes it's difficult to really. I don't want him to know how bad it really is. How bad I'm freaking out, right? And so there were many times that Tag just had to give me a hug, and he had to just tell me everything's going to be okay. It is so worth it at the end. Everything is going to be okay. So here we are, and we're making it. Life goes on as usual. We just have a few extra chores in there.
Yep.
And, I really still doing everything we were doing back at the old homestead. We're just a little bit farther back.
She sure is pretty.
Oh, gosh.
She's got a pretty mouth.
Stop it. Oh, you got to tell them about the. Did you get the Mater Fairy shirt on the shop?
No, I don't have the.
I sent it to you. I emailed it to you. Okay, I'll email it to you tonight.
Okay, guys. If you are a member of Freesteading and you have not gone over to our discussion group, I put the story of the Mater Fairies on our group chat or our group discussion board over at Freesteading. So if you go over there and check it out, that's the story of the Mater Fairies, and we're going to have a Mater Fairy shirt up on the bonfire site here pretty soon.
But tell them what it's going to say. It's going to have,
it's going to have Cletus the Mater Fairy, and it's going to say, "You sure got pretty maters." Why does that crack you up?
I think it's just looking. It was. Oh my gosh! So it was me, G, and Tag, and so we were like, it has to be something that's almost offensive, but not really offensive. And it's not that it's offensive, but everybody just started cracking up, laughing, and looking at everybody's faces. It's just, I could still see it in my head. It's just hilarious. I'm gonna have one of those shirts. It's just hilarious. So
you know what, Lucy? He better not have got his cinnamon buns because he hasn't built that Walpini yet. Yes, I think B should weaponize the cinnamon buns to get her Walpini done quickly.
Tag, I can make you some cinnamon buns. You might want to wait till it cools down and there's no bugs, though. I don't know what the hell's going on in my kitchen. So, yeah, I don't know. But yeah, no, that T-shirt just cracks me up. We'll come up with some more. We come up with some stupid. We were even like Tag and I. We were standing there, and I told Darren, like, you should get this on film. And so I don't know if you. So G, for some reason, was using. Oh
God! Don't tell him about the log dog.
Was using the chainsaw, and you could just hear it go, and it's like, and I looked at Tag and I said, how long are we gonna sit? Like, everybody's got chainsaws, there's plenty of chainsaws, but we're just sitting here talking and watching G cut wood by himself with this poor pathetic blade. And so I looked at Tag and who else was sitting there? I think Kevin was sitting there. And I said, how long are we gonna just sit here and watch him suffer like that when we can knock this out? Well, the chainsaw was suffering. And Tag goes, "What? This is fun. We'll just let him go until he stops." And he goes, "It's fun to make fun of G." And so we're sitting there.
That's why I have an Amish buggy sitting in my yard wasting away.
And then, seriously, there's an Amish buggy in my yard. So then I was stacking the wood, and we turned around and we were watching G struggle again because he was still by himself. And I looked at Tag and I said, how much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? And Tag looked at me and he goes, as much wood as a woodchuck could if a woodchuck could chuck wood. And I said, how much wood would a woodchuck chuck if he had a sharper blade on his saw? And then Tag came up with another one. We just cracked each other up.
Okay, they're making fun of me, but there's a method. So you sharpen the chain, fill the thing full of gas, and you run it till you get out of gas, and then you go sharpen the chain, fill it back up, let it cool down. So they were making fun of me. And then I was using a log dog, which is a device that you put on a log and it's got a pole on it, and you use it to roll logs over while you're cutting them or you're moving them around. And I needed a log to stay upright, but it wouldn't stay upright. So I pulled the log dog over, and then I kind of went over to the side and I stuck my butt cheek on top of the log dog pole so that it wouldn't roll back over. And then I was leaning over cutting it, and Darren Hacks from the Homesteader decided that would be great B-roll for the video of the wood cutting day. That's the way to do it, Lucy. And I'll tell you what, I've got one of the ones that you take the chain off and you put it in it, and it goes up and down. Hacks had one that fits on the end of a Dremel tool, and I'm telling you what, I'm going to get one of those of those, because it cut the sharpening time by like 80%.
Yeah.
You know.
And that's what. So even Hack's son, he was there, and we got to talking after we were all done, and he said he knew somebody that does cutting wood for a living.
Yeah.
And dude, he doesn't sharpen his chains. He literally buys a new chain every time. Yeah, it's just wasteful, absolutely wasteful. So, he could be cutting the bottom dollar, sharpening his own chains, and not having that issue. Now, is it good to always have a backup? Yes, because they do break. So
okay, Starla, the Harbor Freight sawmill, out of the box, no, it's okay for what it is. It's okay, but if you take it, there's a video out there, and I cannot remember the guy's name, but he does a rehab, or he gets a chainsaw and he does these little tweaks to it, the Harbor Freight one, and it increases the ability to cut wood. It makes it run better, and it makes it last longer the way he does it. And if I can find that video, I'll put a link on the community page to it or someplace.
Tag, you did a lot of research on this too, so maybe you can comment on that as well. I think the one that we were looking at before Tag got his, that was the same one who was not Alaskan Prepper. It was
Living Simple in Alaska.
Yeah, Living Simple in Alaska. It was actually the one that they got, so it'll flip the log and do all of that.
Here's the bottom line.
And it wasn't badly priced, and they do ship.
Here's the bottom line on the Harbor Freight chainsaw, or the sawmill. I don't know what it costs now. It used to cost $3,000, and the next sawmill up in quality and price from a different company cost about $8,000. So
was it 8,000? I thought it was lower than
their
that.
Their low end one. The one that we were looking at was 12,000. But you're paying for a $3,000 chainsaw. You're gonna get the type of sawing that a $3,000 chainsaw does, or sawmill, versus a $8,000, $12,000, $15,000.
And especially, Starla, with what you guys are going through, you're adding on, you're getting your rooms built, you're trying to cut on the lumber. If you really think about how much you guys are going to spend in lumber, it really you to go ahead and invest the money into a really good sawmill, and then have that on there. Cut your own wood, and then you've got all the 2x4s, 2x6s, and 1x1s, the trim. Everything you need is right there. I'm telling you, with the way lumber prices are here anyway, that's a game changer. And we probably, had we known then what we know now, there would be a sawmill sitting on our property. Yeah.
Tennessee Farm Gal, the portable ones are awesome. If you're looking at making an alternative revenue stream.
Teapot, you're at the beach.
Oh my gosh. But you can take that portable saw to people's properties and mill wood for them right there.
Yeah.
And they can pay you money, or they can barter it in lumber or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just an added dimension to having a sawmill for making that money.
Well, and I think on the sawmill, when we do the Homestead rotation over at Tag and Bees, I think the plan is to have Russ there, and we're all going to learn the mill, and which would be exciting. So if I can work on our piece of wood, he can work on our piece of wood, and we're going to Hacks decided that we needed to have a bar sitting on the front porch so that people can just kind of sit and eat if they want, right underneath where the projector goes. But I kind of am in anyway. So we'll get that up there. And I was just thinking a nice piece of walnut, or Tag doesn't think they have any more cedar, but walnut would be beautiful. So
Teapot's at Myrtle Beach, sipping pina coladas.
I'm sorry.
Putting her toes in the sand.
Looking at sailors, having a good time.
Oh, you.
Huh?
You'd be looking at Teapot's looking at
Myrtle
sailors?
Beach. Of course she's looking at sailors. She's like, what's that fine young specimen over there?
And the cool thing about milling your own wood is you can cut true dimensional lumber instead of getting a 3.5-inch 2x4. Yeah. You know.
Yeah, Teapot, I'm feeling much better. I was saying before, you guys are great prayer warriors. That was amazing. It literally, I was better the next day. Really still having some issues with balance, and I think it's blood sugar. I think I'm having issues with my blood sugar, but so I'm not eating. I don't know if I feel it. I just do like a little Snickers, but we still have Halloween candy left over from the trunk or treat that we did, and I just try to take something out of there, do that, but hopefully I'll get over it. Unfortunately, I'm hearing that anybody that had this strain is mostly also having the same issue. So
Lucy, that's awesome that your neighbor gave you the 2x6s. That it used to be that really wasn't a big thing, but anymore that's a true blessing.
It really is. And that was on the Homestead rotation when Kevin came up. He had trusses for that he had traded some work on a vehicle with a guy, so maybe something like that. And so part of the trade was those trusses. And he I don't know. Yeah, Pat, I'll ask Rowdy if there's any maples coming down there. Maybe that would be pretty. But the walnut's real pretty too. He said it's got that nice browns and the reds in there. So I don't know. I kind of leaning towards that. We'll look. We'll get them cut open and look.
I was going to make it out of treated 2x6s or 2x8s.
Yeah, that's not happening because now I get something prettier. So.
You sure got a lot of faith in my woodworking skills with this nice lumber you're trading people for. You got a lot of faith.
What are you talking about?
Who
am I trading what for?
The lumber. You're not getting that lumber for free. You're not going to take advantage of our friends like that.
Tag, I mean, if I'm cutting it, Tag didn't say I had to pay for it. Trust me, Tag is going to make me pay for that one way or the other. It's just not going to be monetary. So anyway, this is what we do for each other. We give each other a lot of hell and then just, give each other a lot of blessings at the same time. So, yeah, but no, he didn't say he was going to charge me anything. So, but I asked. I didn't ask him if I could pay him for it. I just asked. I was like, hey, could we do a bar? And you know how Tag is. If he wanted money, he would have said it's going to cost you X amount. So he didn't do that. Now, I'm sure he's not going to finish it for me and do all of that. But I also do know when I go to finish it, if I have any questions, I just have to pick up the phone and call him, and he'll walk me through it. So
well, we're closing in on an hour, and I think you guys got any questions for us? I mean, it's kind of been scattershot.
She said she has maple.
That's what I said.
Have to try. Oh, yeah, I didn't. I misunderstood you. I'm sorry. Black cherry trees. Yeah, there's some cherry trees there. Ooh,
that would make some gorgeous.
That's kind of what Tag was saying, and then you get that nice red in there, and it's just beautiful. So we'll decide once we get them cut open, and honestly, I'll probably just take Tag's advice on it because he's so good at that, and we'll figure out what to use. But I have to make sure that I seal it up really, really good and stay on top of it because even though it's covered, it's going to be out on the edge a little bit. So I think rain and snow might come in a bit, but I don't know. I may try to talk G into enclosing the porch. So we'll see what happens on that. But yeah, so Tag's got those cedar trees as well. In fact, I don't know if you saw his video. If you go in and you look at the house, he got, and I think they were from his dad's place, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Or maybe he took the logs up to his dad. The rafters. Did he get them from his dad?
Those are gorgeous.
And, he's got them in the living room, and they're just beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Well, as I was saying, if there are no questions, some nice maple seed. I don't know if we got maple. Do we have maple around here? We don't even have
We had maple in Missouri. We could have maple here. I haven't seen any maple here. For that, you have to remember where we are at. We have stuff that settlers brought in, but we are Delaware Indian Territory, and we still have the all of the titles and everything that goes all the way back to the Delaware Indians. So we have a lot more medicinal. So the red buds are medicinal. You can take that bark and all of that. The herbs, the wild herbs. And then as the settlers came in, we have weird fruit trees. Like there's some fruit trees from where the grapes are from Peru, and then some are just normal grapes. Those are river
I don't remember.
river bottom grapes, I think. And then whatever the grapes are that you let the goats wipe out. I don't know what those were. I don't. He said, "Don't even go look. You're just gonna get upset." And I said, "Okay." He said, "Because they're coming out anyway, so we can get those fields straightened up." And then so we do have natural fruit trees, which would be the plums, and no, those are small plums. You know, you're just getting little ones. And then what else do we have natural here?
Pat, I am going to do a video in the next 3 or 4 days of saving pawpaw seeds, and I will bring you some at the camp out
No,
at the festival.
Pat, decide if you want seeds or if you want saplings or cuttings.
It's a little late for saplings, isn't it?
A little late for saplings, but the cuttings would be fine. And Pat, my rooting hormone and my rooting hormone plus will be ready next week. In fact, guys, we're taking that back to the land with us in the vendor tent, and oh, it's looking amazing. I went out there; it's nice and brown, super. You know, it's looking really, really good. So I'm excited about that. I'll get that bottled up, and Pat, I'd be happy to get you some cuttings, and I'll keep some rooting hormone plus back for you if you want to do that. Just name how many cuttings you want, and I'll grab those for you. And just
probably ought to take cuttings off that tree that the goats tore up today. The goats got a hold of one of the pawpaw trees.
I haven't even looked at it, but yeah, we probably need to figure something out. But yeah, I think this time of year, I think the cuttings are probably going to be best for you.
The princess is calling.
The seeds have to be refrigerated anyway for so many months.
4 to 6 months.
Yeah, so
stratified.
So cuttings are probably going to be the best way for you, Pat.
Okay, we're over an hour now.
We are over our hour.
So we need to start wrapping this up. Only thing I want to say before we go is think about what we talked about, the why we prep, and go through in your mind why you prep and what you're doing it for. Because, like we said, self-preservation is not the end goal. Self-preservation is just one of the benefits of doing what we do. And if you're a prepper or you know a prepper, getting to the homesteading portion of it should be your end goal. Even if you're stuck on a city lot or if you're in an apartment, you can do these little things and take these little steps, and eventually, if you don't evolve, that's fine. But you should always be striving to take that next step, because at the end of the day, the stuff that we put up for prepping and all the food, that's a finite resource, and eventually it's going to run out. So we have to think of ways to make more sustainable. Somebody higher up in the chat had said that sustainability was one of the goals, and that's true. We're looking at thriving, not just surviving.
And thriving is the key, really. It is. It's the key. So
in fact, that whole message about why we prep, I may download this video after it posts and cut that part out and just post that as a separate video, because now people may not want to watch our live stream. But I think that message is just what Randy L posted was so profound and just so much stuff in it. It was awesome. All right. So, Angela, do you got anything you want to say?
I don't know, Patty. The banana trees are back in the living room, and I do have new leaves coming off of them. So that's exciting. They're not deader than a doornail.
That green right there is 24 hours worth of growth.
No, it's not.
Almost. Well, then you peeled some stuff back.
No, I didn't.
But anyway,
But
All right.
anyway, so that's it. All right, guys, as always, it's been a blessing. Thank you for joining us, and we really appreciate it. We hope that you just have a very blessed week. If there's any videos, let me know. With the refrigerator breaking down, I've been doing some very interesting things around here, getting things made, and just trying to figure out how to use up things. So I do have, and if Mrs. Hacks is on here, she knows it, and I do owe her the video. We're going to do. She's a Velveeta person. And so, because she has to have her nachos at the end of time, so she learned how to make Velveeta cheese. And like, that's crap cheese. Why would you put
You're
that?
rambling.
Why would you put that poison in your body?
You're rambling.
So anyway, I'm going to do a video on canning cheese. So
All right.
on the nacho cheese.
All right, folks.
That's not Velveeta.
Now that we got Angela stopping chasing squirrels, I want to finish with, you guys go live a life done free this week. Okay. Take care.
Bye, guys.